Today on Kristy Downing Rocks, I have a real treat for you. We've been on 3 amazing journeys, and I'm going to take you back to 4 of my most favorite places. Our first stop is for the Napa Crossroads CD launch at the City Winery. Then we'll head over to the Adobe Road Winery, south to the Schoch family farmstead, and we'll end up at the beautiful Han Winery in Soledad. All this on today's episode of Kristy Downing Rocks. There's a saying it takes a lot of beer to make good wine. Well, it also takes a lot of fine winemakers to make good music. That's why I'm meeting David Pack at Gargiulo Vineyards in Napa Valley. David produced the Napa Crossroads CD with local wine country musicians, and it all started here. Hey, David!
Hi.
So
How are
good to see you. Very well, thanks.
All
How
right.
are you? Gorgeous
Good to
day.
see you.
Mwah.
All right. Welcome to Gargiulo Vineyards.
What a beautiful place. I love it.
Staggering, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
There's some little purple friends that want to meet you out here.
Oh, great. Let's go find them. What a spectacular view. It's so gorgeous.
It's just crazy beautiful. This is
It is.
my heaven on earth spot, you know.
Yeah, I love it.
Grapes are my friends.
Grapes are my friends. Call David a song catcher, the Pied Piper of Napa Valley. He brought together 5 vintners to create the Napa Crossroads CD, a labor of love 5 years in the making. The former lead singer of Ambrosia and Grammy Award-winning record producer considers himself a wine geek. He's been visiting Napa for 30 years.
I'm into the real art of fine winemaking.
Absolutely.
I think that's what makes the difference, is you understand it's very complex art.
Also wanting it to still be a greatest hit in 20 or 30 years.
Exactly. So there are parallels between the art of making music and fine winemaking.
David was playing at the Gargiulo Vineyards Harvest Party in 2006 when inspiration struck.
You know, I found that a lot of the winemakers are privately want to be rock stars. Well, Napa Crossroads just came from the joy of watching these wine owners, the CEOs of Silver Oak and Gargiulo Vineyards and Farniente, jamming, celebrating their harvest.
And today, I'm lucky enough to find myself in one of these jam sessions with David, Jeff Gargiulo, and Larry McGuire.
I'm a wine grower, baby. They put guitars on and they became like 18-year-old kids.
Yeah.
And they're just singing their hearts out, and there's no inhibition.
I have a real good time.
The making of Napa Crossroads started here at Gargiulo Vineyards when Jeff asked David to help write a song for his daughter April's wedding.
We wrote a song with Billy Dean, the country star, and we sang it for his daughter's wedding here at the winery.
I won't forget how I feel today, my April morning day.
Everybody was crying, and the idea went off like, wait a minute, why couldn't we do a whole record of real songs, real stories?
That song, April Born in May, became the first song for the Napa Crossroads CD. Now David needed more music. He met with vintners like Larry McGuire, CEO of Farniente Winery.
He closed the door of his office and goes, well, I'll tell you a little secret. I've been writing songs for like 25 years.
Larry, who plays guitar, shared some of those songs. Then David worked his magic on them. For Larry, finally having his songs recorded and heard was something he never imagined. Working with David, you really had your dream come true now.
I did have my dream come true. I mean, to play on stage with David Pack and Alan Parsons, I mean, that really is the ultimate. And to actually go onto iTunes and see my music.
Carmen Policy, the former president of the San Francisco 49ers and now owner of the Casa Piano Winery, also contributed 2 songs. It sounds like he had the time of his life working on it.
He had a great time, you know, and he's like, David, I've never written a song in my life. It goes, help me through this process. So, and I will say, well, just talk to me about, you know, what is your joy in life? When you have a full house, then you have a full heart. I'm like, let me write that down. Full house, full heart, Carmen policy.
Keeping it local, David invited other Napa Valley musicians to be part of the CD.
Jeff Gargiulo has started up, and David Duncan, the CEO of Silver Oak, they've started this very cool Ventnor band called the Silverado Pickups. They wrote a song, authentic song called Wine Country Cowboy.
Wine country cowboy till I die.
Shane Soldinger from Soldinger Vineyards, he wrote, the band came up with the concept, but then Shane went home and actually wrote the song. And so there you go, you've got your local Napa authentic song about the life of a winemaker.
David invited country music star Jimmy Wayne to sing it with Shane, and of course the song made the Napa Crossroads album. Now all this wine country CD needed was a proper coming out party, and the City Winery Napa was the perfect venue. Tonight, David Pack's vision to create a CD that would celebrate the lifestyle and special moments here in Napa is going to come to life on the stage at City Winery.
Ladies and gentlemen, is everybody ready for the world debut at Napa Crossroads? This project was begun on Jeff Gargiulo's back porch.
Well, sort of. I think it really was begun with David Pack, who has had an unbelievable passion for Napa Valley.
David Pack makes dreams come true.
That's Suzanne Pride of Pride Mountain Vineyards, who worked with David on lyrics for 2 songs.
He recorded a lot of it up at our family's red house next door to the winery.
David performs You Were the One, a song he wrote at Pride Winery.
That was an inspiration from my mother, Carolyn Pride, but Dad was really the vision behind the winery, and without him, it wouldn't have happened. So he was the one in her heart. It just rocks my soul.
Silver Oak CEO David Duncan also contributed 2 songs.
David Duncan sings his butt off, and he goes for it. I just love it.
David started writing Every Time I Look at You about his wife. He took the song to David Pack, who added lyrics about his wife. David, what's it like going from being a vintner to a published music artist now?
Well, it's fun, and we've been having a good time, but we promised each other that it was going to be about the friendships and the wine first.
Hear the rooster call in the air, smell sweet at harvest time. I try my best to work with what Mother Nature.
For the finale, the musicians gather on stage for a lively rendition of Wine Country Cowboy. The musical journey to Napa Crossroads has been long, but deeply personal for all involved. David Pack says it's only the beginning.
When you see an eagle soaring over the vineyards, that's my spirit, you know.
My soul is in the soil and my blood runs through these vines.
I'm going to be probably the rest of my life trying to create art connected to Napa Valley because I love it that much.
Our adventure continues north through San Francisco, where we arrive in Petaluma. Here we experience horsepower through TRG racing, wine from Adobe Road, and meet the champion and an award-winning wine producer himself, Kevin Buckler. Our journey starts at the Racers Group headquarters. When I entered, I was immediately impressed by Kevin's trophy collection, awards, and photographs on display, all a testimony to Kevin's many victories on the racetrack around the world. I was thrilled to meet the man who'd accomplished so much in his racing career and beyond. We toured the garage, a huge facility filled with Aston Martin racing machines and rare competition-ready Porsches. I learned about the complex braking system, tire performance, and even picked up the lightweight race car hood. Next door at the winery, head winemaker Michael had just finished shifting the barrels around.
We make up to 13 different varietals, including white and red from all over Sonoma County and Napa County. Very important that they sense some authenticity in the wine and that we're kind of an open book.
A quick trip into historic downtown Sonoma led us to the Adobe Road tasting room. There you can soak in the warm sun on the back patio or have a seat at the bar where Palmer will pour you a delightful glass of wine. It was a fun, relaxing experience and a must-stop location in downtown Sonoma. Next, I followed Kevin to a secret location for a unique look into his private wine cellar.
But we really put our roots down here in Sonoma. You know, we employ all local people. You know, our rock star young winemaker, Michael, is from Sonoma. Our tasting room is in Sonoma. Our growers are from Sonoma. Our fruit is from Sonoma. And although we do craft other wines in other areas, boutique and small is in, and Sonoma really sort of epitomizes what's happening in the wine world right now and staying true to your roots and staying local. Because I think a lot of people would think, how can you possibly relate or equate these two businesses? They seem so polar opposite. But there is a common denominator, and it's really teamwork. You know, in racing, we have to fight against some, you know, David and Goliath story all day long. Same in the wine business, and we built our small little boutique winery with some really strong people, great teamwork, and a great product, you know, all based here locally. You know, winning for us here is about building our brand and building relationships with our clients and really tying together all those things I mentioned before about the teamwork and how we can make it sort of sing together. And if you do it properly, it's a magic moment.
After a rare tour of the cellar, we headed to the track for a breathtaking experience where I was able to get first-hand training on operating a race car. My dream came true. I will remember this adventure forever. Kevin is a champion driver and a world-class vintner. Just minutes outside of Salinas on these beautiful rolling hills, we find a family operation known as the Schoch Family Farmstead. Here we will meet the Schoch family and take a look into their unique cheese-making process and find out why everyone is raving about the different cheeses and milk that are from our own backyard. Our first stop on property begins at the early stages with Seth and the cute calves. This is very much a family farmstead where you're all working together. Can you tell me how you work together with your brothers here to make it all happen?
Yeah, so basically, moving the cattle around and everything like that. It takes usually one person on each end, moving fences, One of us might be, Ty, for instance, could be, you know, watching an area where you're running the cattle through, and so just in simple daily jobs like that, we're kind of helping each other out. We make cheese at night. Usually I jump in and helping Bo finishing up and the cleaning process of the cheese making and the actual hooping of the curds. And so it's very much, we kind of rely on each other to kind of make everything go around.
Seth, how many of these cute little calves do you have?
Well, right now we're raising about 15 of them in these condos where they spend, while we're feeding them milk and grain. We keep them in here for the first 3 months, and then we wean them off and we move them around to pastured areas after this. You know, milking about 75, 80 cows. We actually, you know, have overall about over 200 plus animals on the dairy.
Wow, over 200.
Yeah,
that's a lot of animals to take care of.
After it's with his mom, we usually have to bottle feed for about 4 or 5 days until we can get them trained on to drinking out of a bucket.
How much do they drink?
So they drink, we feed them twice a day, and you know, about a half gallon at a time.
That's a lot of milk.
Yeah, it comes straight out of the milk line from still warm from the cow that we're feeding them.
Yeah.
So.
That's just the beginning for the Schoch family farmstead. And did you know that Schoch makes the only Monterey Jack cheese from Monterey County?
Monterey Jack is a truly American cheese. You know, one of the few truly American cheeses that this recipe started here in the United States. And so it's interesting, being one of the last remaining dairies in Monterey County, that you know, this is where Monterey Jack was first created and started.
Tell me more about the cheese making process. You've got this beautiful warm milk that's come into the vat. Then what happens?
Within about an hour, that warm milk turns into something that is more of a curd. Think of almost like a yogurt.
Sure.
And after some time of setting the milk, which you call setting the milk, I actually cut that curd, cut that coagulant. At that point, I had curds and whey. And depending on what type of cheese I'm making, I'm cutting that curd a little differently, heating it, stirring it a little bit differently. And within a couple hours, I eventually drain that whey and I pack those curds into a wheel. And now, within a few hours, I went from fresh raw milk to something that starts looking like a wheel of cheese. I would definitely recommend stopping by some of our farmers markets. So on Fridays, you could go to Monterey Peninsula College, or on Saturdays, you go to our Aptos Farmers Market.
I can see the hard work, time, and patience that is required to make cheese. But what happens to the cheese after Bo and Seth complete their wheels? Our next stop takes us to the cheese aging room. Ty, here we are in the cheese aging room at the Schoch family farmstead, and it's a very special classification to be known as a family farmstead. And I was wondering if you could explain what you have done in order to achieve that.
That's right. We are a true farmstead operation, which means that the raw material for our product, which is milk, is actually produced here on the property and is made into cheese here on the property. We kind of have a division of duties. For example, Bo is mostly concerned with making of the cheese. I'm performing the affinage, which is aging the cheese. My brother Seth and my dad John are concerned with raising cattle and milking the cows. I want them to feel like they're tasting something unique, not something that's just bought off the shelf at a big store. You know, this is something that's it's not mass produced. It's a small artisan product, and like them to think that they're getting a little piece of the local flavor of this area.
Schoch Dairy is the true definition of a family farmstead. The cattle are beautiful and well taken care of. And the process on property is unique and unlike anything I have ever seen. It's true, happy cows are from California, and we can see why these cows are happy to be here. The Schochs were a pleasure to be around, and I want to thank them so much for making me feel so welcome on their farm. A quick trip off of Highway 101 leads us to Soledad, California. At the base of the mountainous Santa Lucia Highlands, we arrive at Hahn Estate, where we will set off and explore the elements that make Hahn a wine destination. We start off in the vineyards here, where we are introduced by Andy Mitchell, the Director of Viticulture at Hahn Estate.
Our mission here at Hahn is to grow world-class wines, especially Pinot Noir. We're in the San Jose Highlands, and we have ideal conditions for growing Pinot Noir grapes. We have just over 1,100 acres, 1,100 acres. All of our acreage in production is SIP certified. SIP stands for Sustainability and Practice. My favorite spot here at Hahn has to be this area we're standing at now. It's the contour. It's at an elevation about 1,000-foot elevation. It's a long, windy dirt road to get here, but the view is just spectacular. I call it the money shot.
Next, we're going to head down the hill to the winery and meet Paul Clifton. I'm with Paul, the Director of Winemaking here at Hahn. And Paul, we're in one of your 2 barrel rooms, and I was wondering, can you tell me about the different rooms in the facility that you have here and how they're used?
Yeah, right now we're standing in the Chardonnay warehouse.
Sure.
And this is where we do all our barrel ferments for Chardonnay.
Right, yeah.
We've got another room that's all Pinot Noir. We have all our different clones of Pinot kept separate.
Pinot and Chardonnay are your 2 main varietals that you're doing here? And then what about the other spaces that you have here? What are they used for?
We've got tank rooms where we do fermentations. We've got a bottling room. We've got case goods storage rooms. A lot of rooms.
A lot of different rooms. Yeah. Lots of work to be done. You have your own bottling and packaging facility, and is that a little bit unique to be doing it here on site? Why are you doing it here versus sending it out?
We bottle about 30 to 40 weeks out of the year, so it makes more economical sense for us to do it, as well as, we have full control over the quality.
And we want good quality. As the Director of Winemaking, then you're overseeing what's going on in the vines as well as in the facility, is that correct?
Yes.
And can you tell me how those 2 relate to each other?
Farming, the variety that we're growing here, Pinot Noir, is very vital. If you don't have the good fruit, you don't have the good wine. So I want to make sure that everything flowing through from the vineyards is making quality in the bottle.
Extracting the best.
Exactly.
And Hahn even has a private dining facility for weddings and events. Here, we will be greeted by Hahn's executive chef, Diane Foster. Chef Diane, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Kristy. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Executive chef here at Hahn. So, what are we making today?
Well, today we are making some pasta and some ricotta to go in that pasta. We're going to make some ravioli, but we'll also make some fettuccine and toss that with some fresh mussels and clams.
I can't wait to try this.
Absolutely. I didn't wait to try it when you weren't looking at it. You took a few
bites. I saw you.
She saw me sneaking the orphaned mussels out of the pan.
That pasta is delicious. It has a really good bite. The kale is so fresh in it. It tastes really green. You can just tell that you picked it so recently just here from your own local garden. It's amazing. Here at the garden, many of the herbs and vegetables are grown for guests to taste in their dish. You will experience a sense of escape from this place on property. Oh, did I mention the view? Our last stop takes us to the popular Hahn tasting room, where you can pick up a souvenir. And experience a glass of wine with some friends in the sunshine. Han is truly a must-stop location in the Salinas Valley.
I can't tell you how great these young men and women are. Because of their sacrifice, we have sent a very clear message to the world that nobody attacks the United States of America and gets away with it.
The best and brightest military officers from the United States and around the world come to the Naval Postgraduate School in Monterey, California, to work with world-class faculty on real military and defense problems.
It's been over 20 years since I graduated from the Naval Postgraduate School. In all of our careers, we move from one challenging assignment to the next, rarely with time to think deeply. Most of us, certainly at the grade of 03 or 04, have only been exposed to tactical problems. We have been thinking and acting tactically in the cockpit, on the bridge, or in a small unit. The school really broadened my horizons and allowed me to think about more important strategic issues. Of course, for me, it also gave me time to write about a topic I was very interested in and one that was very relevant to my special operations community. And I can tell you without hesitation that the education I received helped me every day of my career since then.
Hi, I'm Kristy Downing. Join me on our journey where we go from Big Sur to the Salinas Valley and up the coast to Napa. And we're going to meet the area's best chefs and winemakers, and we're going to visit local events, restaurants, farms, and producers. And we don't leave out the great music. So remember, local is where you are.